Hi everyone, welcome to the last layout for this season of Spin Less Scrap More. I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos. So this is the layout that I honestly did not think at all that I was going to be able to do. After I had finished the last layout, I think it was honestly, I think I was going through my photos on my phone and kind of printing some of those and dealing with all of that. And I came across this one layout that I had saved from a long time ago that somebody did, and it had a bunch of strips of paper. Now, theirs were all the same size, and I'm not going to show it because it was just the idea from it. Plus, it's somebody's layout, so I'm just not going to show it. But it had a bunch of strips of paper that were all they weren't very big, and therefore but it was like using a bunch of scraps, and I thought, I bet I could pull something off the same kind of in the same kind of way, I guess is what I don't know how you would really word that, but I thought I'm going to try this. Now mine is absolutely nothing at all like what theirs was. But I knew I had a bunch of smaller pieces and I had a lot of that green paper left and not a lot of that snowman paper and not a lot of things left. But actually, the more I started to do this, the more I started to find that would work for it. Now, what you can see, basically, all I'm doing is literally cutting everything into squares or rectangles and adding them to the layout. I am not, I am actually purposely trying to not line them up evenly. I didn't want a real symmetrical layout or whatever word you would use. I didn't want everything to line up so there are going to be gaps here and there. And I could have probably spent a little more time and made sure there was no gaps, but I just didn't want it to be that type of layout. I have kind of done that before, but like I said, I didn't want it to be that type of layout. Now I went through some of the papers. There was that snowman paper, and on the back side was that Hello Winter cut apart, which I really liked that one, and I thought it went pretty good with this photo. And then there was some die cuts, so I went through the die cuts and anything that would work. And I was super happy, by the way, that snowman one, that's one of the things I was referring to just now, die cut wise, that would work. I cut it down. It was a tag. I just cut it into a rectangle and put it on there. And I was really happy, like I said, because that was one of my favorite. I just love that little snowman. And then, yeah, so I went through the die cuts. Some of them were already squares, like the skates and the mittens, I believe, were already squares. I cut off that You Melt My Heart. Um, that was one of the cut aparts on the opposite side of the snowman paper. And I did that and I cut off the snowman's head, whatever, but I liked the red from it and I liked the saying from it, but I really liked that it pulled that red around that because I know that snowman has it on his hat. And I didn't really know what else I would have, so I wanted to pull the colors around as much as possible. That red is also on the Hello Winter, in case you didn't see that. And then I went to the sticker sheet. So some of the stickers I'm going to cut down. There is a snow globe that's on the sticker sheet. You're going to see in a few minutes that I cut the snow globe down into a square. And if you looked close enough, you might think, well, that looks kind of funny, but nobody, unless they looked really close, actually looking for something, would probably even notice. And to help these papers stand out, of course, I'm inking my edges with my gray close to my heart ink. So you can see that some things line up, like this Hello Winter, the top of it lines up with the top of the frozen nose and toes. But really, I didn't, I did not purposely line everything up. This here, it was either a die cut or a sticker, and it must have been a die cut because I was cutting the little knobby pieces off, but that one I just kind of cut it down and it works here, and I just put it in. Again, it has a little bit of the reds, and the other color that I'm going to try to sprinkle around is green. Now you can see on the screen that I have a big piece of that green pattern paper left. I'm not going to get it all used up, and I don't really care. You might even notice some of those strips that are in that little, that's kind of the scraps that I have left over. I'm going to pull out some of these, like some of them are even smaller than 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to get some of those used up. And even some of that first pattern paper that was kind of the plaid paper that I really liked that has all the colors, I'm going to get some of that pulled out of the scraps. So if you just have a bunch of scraps and you're not ready to be done with a collection, try something like this and see if you like it. I mean, you could always take a 4x6 photo mat and put it there and try putting these pieces around to see, and then that way your photo's not already, mine's glued down at this point, because once I started getting to where I wanted to move forward and glue everything down, I figured it would be easy. It would be easier if everything was glued down to be able to fill in different areas, like where I put that one plaid one that's next to the It's a Hot Chocolate Kind of Day. I did kind of measure that one so that it would fit in there. I didn't want to cut it too small and make it look funny. Um, so some of the areas are getting filled in, but I am trying to make sure everything's kind of level, I guess you would say, if that's the right word to use. I didn't use my T-square ruler. I started out using it so I could get a few things straight, but the rest I figured I would just kind of wing it. And then again, I'm just filling everywhere in. So you can see, like at the top where I'm talking about, where those mittens are. It doesn't go exactly on the right hand side. It's not lined up with frozen nose and toes. So there's a little bit more space. It's not as tall as the snowman paper. I did decide to use the snowflake border along the bottom. I kind of not 100% sold even now on that border, but I felt like it was just like a shelf for all this to sit on. And I'm leaving it there, so it works for me. Going to add more of this snowman paper around because it was probably my favorite paper out of all this. You guys probably know that. But also it's filling in a lot more of those areas. And with a little bit of ink on the edges, it really helps it stand out. You can probably tell the difference between from when I inked them before and not. Now that to the left of the Hello Winter is that kind of skinny piece with the multi different patterns on it. That's kind of to the right of where I'm working right now. That was a tag from the ephemera pieces, and I just cut those into squares and cut a little piece off so that I could, that brought all the colors around. I think I mentioned a minute ago that I was thinking at this point that I needed to bring that green around a little more because those mittens are up there. There's green in the mittens and there's green in a couple of the papers, but there's not a whole lot of green. But I am going to go ahead. Oh, right there was where I cut that snow globe picture down, or I mean sticker. I am going to go ahead and bring a little bit of the green. Did I bring the green? I do think I'd bring some of the green pattern paper around, but just really small little boxes of it. The fun thing about doing this as well is I got a lot of those stickers used up that I could still use, like Snowflake Kisses and Chill Out and Cozy and Hot Cocoa Time. A lot of those got used up. Basically, with this layout, the one thing I paid attention to was making sure the colors were spread all around the layout. So I didn't have everything that was red on one side and everything that was green on the other side. I made sure that they were all spread around, and so your eye would kind of follow it around the page. And in my opinion, when I look at this layout in person, I really do get drawn to the photo because it's in the middle of all of this other stuff, all these other triangles of, I guess they're not really triangles at this point because there's more items that are red than, just 3, but you know what I mean. The only thing with this layout that I add that is not really a square or rectangle is I do think there was 2 to 3 hearts that were still on the sticker sheet that I decide to go ahead and add, and you will see those in the still shot photo. I don't know, I think I might have added them after the video was done, but I was so happy to get the rest of this stuff up, and I just played. This was just fun to just kind of play around and use up this stuff. So let me know below if you have ever done a layout like this, and or if this is a layout you would ever want to try, because it was definitely a lot of fun. And for using, you know, again, I got a lot of things used up here that you might be able to see that people could, you know, somebody else might have been able to make into cards or something. I don't know, but I got it used up and I got another layout done. So I'm quite happy. Even this sweater, like I didn't think I'd be able to use this sweater piece anywhere, but it fit perfectly here in this spot. And I think I probably take a green piece and add it. I'm measuring there. And let me tell you, for this piece, I really measured horribly. I don't know what I was thinking, but I have to cut it down like 3 times. But no big deal. And the other thing is that I didn't worry about, the one thing I will say is that the layout does come closer to the edge on the right than it does the left. That's one thing I might have changed, was maybe made sure it was more centered, but I'm not even going to worry about that at all. So you can see that they're not everything goes towards the edge. Some things go closer to the edge than other things. And here I'm adding that green paper in a third place so that it can be, you know, now it's got the mittens and it's here and it's there. So it's all over on the layout. And I think that's about it, really. I don't think there's so much other than the heart. Oh, I did stamp the date there, which you can see, but there's the layout. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below, because this was definitely a different style, but it was a lot of fun. I did think about adding some enamel dots just to kind of make it more fun and playful, but I changed my mind and just went with the heart. So, all right, guys, I hope you like this layout, and I hope you enjoyed this series of Spend Less, Scrap More. I'll see you for the recap. All right, bye.